Pelissero was on the Rich Eisen show yesterday and said the Niners and Brock Purdy are not close. He thinks it'll get done, but he said, hey, they're not close. And my take on that is if Brock Purdy wants $57 million a year and his agent, not necessarily a well-known agent, want $57 million a year, it should not be close now. Do not cave. He's got a year left on his contract. And there are people like a Lamar Jackson or a Josh Allen I will pay early. Max Crosby. Oh, you can identify certain players after a year in a camp. Oh, yeah, he's beating all of our tackles. Yeah, he's got 11 sacks. Let's sign him early and get a better deal. That's not Brock Purdy. But let's be brutally honest about here. The Niners' biggest rival is in their division, the Rams. And it felt like 3 or 4 years ago, the Niners had the edge. The Rams have passed them and blown by them. McVay, 8 years, missed the playoff once, and he's got a trophy. Shanahan, 8 years, missed the playoffs 4 times. Last year was bad, no trophy. And by the way, the rosters right now, the Rams have far more good, young, inexpensive players. And that's why you can keep Matt Stafford. So I'm looking, one of the primary reasons I think the Rams have blown by him, the Niners pay Christian McCaffrey, pay Trent Williams. I get George Kittle. You gotta start making decisions here on safeties and linebackers and right tackles, and you can't pay every receiver. You can't pay Debo and Ayuk, right? And so the Rams have a much better defense, and they're paying nobody on that side. They have the better quarterback. I think they have the better coach, arguably. They have the better offensive line. You have to use discretion on this stuff. And I think this is a classic example, is that, the Rams are a little like, McVay is a little like The Godfather. It's not personal. It's business. And they've told Von Miller that. And they've told Jalen Ramsey that. And they told Jared Goff that. And they've told multiple people that. They told Matt Stafford that. We really like you. It's not personal, but this is the number.
Okay. I just don't think it's fair. Listen, I love Sean McVay and the Rams, and I believe they're a great team, a great franchise, a very well-run franchise. But to say that they blow the 49ers away, and yes, the big difference is that the Rams won that Super Bowl and the 49ers did not. The 49ers had to play the Kansas City Chiefs twice. The team that everyone except the Eagles found a way to win when it mattered most. The Bengals got the one win, and it was because, Kansas City just played nowhere near up to par. And then the Rams got the benefit of playing the Bengals. And Joe Burrow's first Super Bowl, I've talked a lot about that. When Sean McVay had to go up against the dynasty and the GOAT against New England, couldn't win. He couldn't win. He got really lucky going up against the Cincinnati Bengals, who have, quite frankly, considering they have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Higgins, have been a disaster of a franchise. Like, they just have. That's just a fact. So, that was a major benefit, a major luxury to be able to go up against him in that Super Bowl. Sean McVay hasn't had to beat Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. And who knows if he would have? I don't know. So, I just don't think that that's entirely fair. And so, have the 49ers been flawless? Of course not. Of course not. They've made some mistakes. Trey Lance obviously probably being the biggest one, and really being, really lucking out with Brock Purdy being a true viable quarterback. I wish we had more information for this whole not close on deal. Is it because the 49ers want to pay him $17 and he wants $100 billion? Like, not close could mean anything. Like, seriously. Are the 49ers trying to get him to sign for $44 million and he wants $55 million? Is it because he wants $60 million and they want to pay him $50 million? Like, I just wish we had more clearer, answers in this. Is it the amount of guaranteed money? Is it the number's fine? They're both willing to do $55 million or whatever it is, but the guarantee is not there. That's what I would want to know. And these contracts can get a little wonky. So I just don't have strong opinions in terms of that, because we kind of keep talking about them not being close, and we just don't have the information. Because he also says they're not close, but I believe a deal will get done. Okay, what does that mean though then? If you're not close, then why do you believe that it's going to get done? Because you believe then that both people want to be together. It's kind of like, oh, they're not married yet. They haven't proposed, but I believe they will. It's like, why? Well, because they love each other. And I think one day they will propose to one another and get married. It's like, okay, that makes sense. So in this situation, it's like they're not close on deal, but I believe it will get done. Okay, why? Because they both want to be together. The 49ers want Brock Purdy to be the quarterback, and Brock Purdy wants to be the quarterback for the 49ers. Okay, boom. So it's just like, I don't know. A part of me feels like this story just kind of gets milked a little bit because it's the offseason. And again, I understand that. But I just wish we had a little bit clearer information. And I would love for people who are a lot more locked in to the local San Francisco 49ers, sports content, local, whatever, radio, podcast, whatever it may be, media. Definitely let me know. I would love, if you guys can give me any more direct insights in terms of like, what are the whispers around? I'd love to get more clarity because I'm certainly not getting it from what I see. But it is also just interesting. The last thing I'll say, and we've talked about this before, it's just like, you're saying you can't pay everyone, but then like they moved on from Debo. They moved on from a lot of defensive players. Like they're getting rid of guys and drafting people and not paying them, which is what the Rams did, but then we're praising the Rams for doing it, and then not praising the 49ers. And then the 49ers, or then the Rams went out and paid for an old 31-year-old Devontae and got rid of Cooper Kupp. So I'm just like, and the 49ers drafted, they got rid of Debo, an old aging receiver, and they got younger with some guy who obviously got injured, right? He got, he got jumped. So that's like, unfortunate, but like, like they're doing the things that you're saying that made the Rams so great. Could you make the argument that the Rams have been a little bit more consistent? I suppose. Like they both went to 2 Super Bowls within the last, like, I don't know, like 9-year window or something, whatever the official window would be. And I get it. The big difference is that the 49ers did not win that Super Bowl. The Rams did. If the Rams didn't come away with the win against the Bengals, you're probably talking about 2 teams who like haven't been able to get over the hump. But like I said, people were talking about the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes being the GOAT, the dynasty. If they beat the Eagles, Colin was already saying Patrick Mahomes is Michael Jordan. That's what he was saying going into the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes is Michael Jordan. The Eagles can't beat them, etc., etc. And if he wins, he solidifies himself as the GOAT. That the Kansas City Chiefs is the greatest dynasty in the history of the NFL. And the 49ers had the unfortunate luck of playing that team twice. And they had the chance to win. We could blame the 49ers for those losses. And that's fine. That's fair. And we could say that the Eagles were able to get over it. The Eagles were able to win and the 49ers weren't. That's fair too. It's all fair game. The Eagles were able to build a better roster than the 49ers, and they were able to come away with the win. They were able to play a higher level ball when it mattered most. That's indisputable. That's why the Eagles got the Super Bowl. The Eagles in both their Super Bowls played better than either of the 49ers games. It's okay to accept. If you're a 49ers fan, I know it hurts to hear, but it's okay to accept that. It totally is. But it doesn't mean you're hot garbage. It doesn't mean that you were lucky to get to the Super Bowl, or that it wasn't awesome and hard work, etc., and that you were right there. And that you did lose, and that you were at a disadvantage because you were now going up against a quarterback and a roster that had already been there in ways that the 49ers weren't. Which is why, and this is what I talked about, Sean McVay had the advantage going into that Super Bowl against the Bengals. Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs had the advantage going up against the 49ers in both Super Bowls. And Spags, for a good measure. So, and that matters. Experience matters. Big time. You now brought in a first year starting full-time starter quarterback into the Super Bowl. Now, that's a tough spot to be in. Going up against Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, etc. The Philadelphia Eagles this time around, a lot of the players, it was their second Super Bowl. Some of them, their third Super Bowl. The experience was there. The experience was deep. Their quarterback had been there. He knew what it was like to play in the Super Bowl. That matters. That matters. Now, they were still able to overcome. Kellen Moore, a child, practically. Fangio, I don't know if he was ever a coordinator in a Super Bowl or not. I'm not sure. But regardless, Spags and Andy, obviously their resume is just deep. Mahomes' resume is deep. Kelsey, deep. Chris Jones, deep. A lot of those players had already won 2 Super Bowls, right? Like that, you know. And so, like, and that's very valid, very real. So, but I just don't know why it's got to be like the extreme of like, yeah, did have the 49ers, if we look at it on a 10-year window, or just say from 2018 or something, you know, they've been to a couple Super Bowls, they've had a lot of success. It has been kind of hit or miss, where they're either NFC champion contender, Super Bowl contender, or they just kind of miss it all. They got decimated with injuries, absolutely decimated with injuries. The way how I look at the 49ers is, let me see what you do over these next 2 years. That's what it is. Because again, look at the Eagles. Eagles go to the Super Bowl, they lose. 2023, awful year. Don't care what the record showed. It was a bad year, bad season. Next year, bounce back, Super Bowl champions. And if they ended up losing in that Super Bowl, which could have been possible, then people would have said, oh, this doesn't work. You know, Jalen Hurts isn't good enough, and Saquon Barkley, blah, blah, blah. But it was. So I look at the 49ers on this next 2-year window. They're going to be healthy, ideally. And what does this team look like? It's been transitioning. They were just in the Super Bowl a couple years. The Rams had their Super Bowl. Haven't been there back since. You said goodbye to Von Miller, goodbye to OBJ, goodbye to Jalen Ramsey, and you haven't been back in a Super Bowl. Now it took you years to rebuild this puppy back up. And yes, Matthew Stafford is an incredibly awesome quarterback. He is an elite talent. And his career would have been wildly different if he did not go to Detroit. So yes, the Rams have an awesome quarterback, aging quarterback, but an awesome quarterback, very real. And yes, Matthew Stafford in his prime is better than Brock Purdy. That's fine. But it's just like, we can't pretend that it's so easy just to find these elite special quarterbacks. Because again, this whole idea, move on from Brock Purdy, for who? That's what I kind of keep always going back to. For who? Who's available? Gardner Minshew? Joe Flacco? Kirk Cousins? Like what are we saying here? Would you rather pay Brock Purdy $55 million or Kirk Cousins $30 million? You want to try it with Aaron Rodgers? Russell Wilson? Justin Fields? Okay, you can get Justin Fields for $20 million a year. All right. Go bring in Justin Fields, I guess. Okay, you got Mac Jones for what, like $6 million or something, whatever he signed? Okay, so go see how well you are with Mac Jones. I don't understand. If they're in a position, if they're really bad this season, and they're in a position now to draft a new quarterback, a prize prospect, right? They have the ability to get a Caleb, Jaden, Bo, just another reset of like, hey, this guy is going to be special. Then yeah, that's an interesting conversation to have. Do you move on from Brock Purdy? You draft a brand new quarterback who you are confident is going to be great. It's definitely a risk because you haven't seen them play. You get to hit the reset button on the rookie deal. You get to essentially do like a soft rebuild. Like, I'm more open to that. But at the same time, you've already made the evaluation and the conclusion that you think Brock Purdy's a great quarterback. So it's just like, what's the problem? But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Brock Purdy? How much do you think they should pay him? Why does this conversation keep going on? And have the Los Angeles Rams blown past the 49ers? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.